Hello cryptocurrency and Bitcoin traders. We can see by this chart that Bitcoin has been very exciting over the past 3 days. We had some real drama the other day where Bitcoin prices spiked down and then immediately spiked back up. So if you were in a long position with your stop loss too close, you got chewed up. And if you jumped in here going short thinking it was going to crash down, you probably got chewed up as well. A real whipsaw and really difficult to trade if you are zoomed in on the 15-minute bars like this. So it's been a fantastic run over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin really showing some strength. But from my point of view, it's still not quite in bullish territory. It's still in the teasing territory inside this big triangle. And I'm looking here at the 12-hour bars. Before I go any further, a quick risk disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and these are not trading recommendations. Trading includes lots of risk, and so study your risk control rules and learn about risk control rules over on our website intro-to-cryptos.ca, where we have a very unique course that I've put together over the last couple years of successfully trading cryptocurrencies and making hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can also find some more live performances over on Polo Charts TV on Twitch. And I did a 2-hour presentation this morning going through the entire database of price prediction spreadsheet that I made the other day on September the 9th. And some of the most important things are to look at what's actually happened in Ripple compared to the prediction that I made. So my prediction showed that Ripple was going to charge up and then hit past the 7,100 Satoshi level. And sure enough, it has. In fact, Ripple has taken past that 7,100 level and is now at the 8,300 level. And if we zoom in to see what's actually going on, it's still charging higher. Another one of the important predictions that I made the other day was for Stellar or Lumens coin, which is STR on Poloniex and XLM every place else. And I don't know why that is. But if we look at that price prediction, we can see that I was expecting it to break out of this range, past this triangle, and then go even higher after that, up to the 4,400 Satoshi level. Let's go take a look and see what's actually going on in that market right now. So it's almost come to the 4,000 Satoshi level after doing much what I predicted, a breakout of that triangle and then down a bit and then a good run further from where it is. If we go in, and this is looking in the 1 day, so we're looking at the 5-minute bars. Here's the 15-minute bars. There's the initial run I predicted, the consolidation, and the stronger run up. If we go into a longer term view, we can see that this market has been building a large triangle for quite a long time. A nice bowl-shaped pattern here. And I believe this is going to charge way higher and follow along with what Ripple's doing. And while it's great to look at some of these markets that have already taken off, I also want to introduce the option for you to trade Bitcoin at up to 10 times leverage over on onefox.io. So if I show you onefox.io and the little trades that I'm doing over here, we can switch this over to US dollar currency. Here we have a trade that was a $10 trade. Here's another $10 trade. If I click on that, it's up 71%. If I click on this one, it's up 63%. Another trade here up 38%. A larger trade here is up 31%. And all of this trading at 10 times leverage using a little bit of Bitcoin to start growing my Bitcoin. And so it's important not to focus on how many dollars you're actually trading, but the percentage gain of what you're trading. And if Bitcoin is now going to be doing another run into similar prices that it's done in the past, it's a really good time to be considering even a little bit of Bitcoin trading. Now what I want to do in this video is to focus on the cryptocurrencies that have not taken off yet. And the ones that, if we zoom into the 1 week view and take a look at them, I don't like coins that are still cracking down to new lows and still in this bit of a downtrend. Instead, I want to find ones that are potentially going to be taking off right away and doing something like we saw STR and Ripple doing recently? So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. I have that open over here. And the first thing I want to do is to share the link to the spreadsheet so that you can follow along in the spreadsheet from all of this research. There's the link in the chat. And you can see that in the spreadsheet, I'll drag this over. I went through on September the 9th and I went through every single market and I captured screenshots of what my predictions were for them. And then as the days went along, September 11th and September 12th, many of these coins made new lows. And then on the 14th, 15th, 16th, they created new bottom formations with new little 1, 2, 3 bottom formations. On the 18th, I went and reviewed them all again to see if they were showing a positive or a negative divergence from the price of Bitcoin. And many of them were positive divergences, showing that even though Bitcoin had done the big skewer down that day, the alts didn't really react to it. Now this morning I went through all of these again and I marked out which ones I think are the top potential and which are the great potential coins based on a very specific trading plan. So we're going to go and take a look at some of those now. BCN. And I'm going to zoom out to the 3-month view, so we're looking at the 12-hour bars. And if I pull that back a little bit, go to the 1-year view, looking at the 1-day bars, we can see where this is at important historical significant levels. It's done massive moves, not once, not twice, but 3 times in the past. And it could have the potential to be doing something like that again now. And since it's down to these historical lows and such a cheap coin, I want to have a little stake in this one just because of this specific chart pattern. Another one I want to do, I want to keep this video short and not do another 2-hour one like I just did on Twitch. Where's the link? Okay, I don't have it handy. The link to the Twitch channel. I'll share that in the chat as well, so that you can go and watch that 2-hour one if you want. Did you see that Polo will be delisting? Yes, many of those coins are being delisted, and that's a real bummer. It cost me $1,000 on Neos coin because I've been holding that in a wallet instead of on the exchange. So I'm transferring those over to Bittrex to see what I can do there. It is a bummer that Poloniex is delisting those things, but it's one of the reasons that I trade only on Poloniex. They really filter out the millions of coins there are now, and they're bringing us what I think are the best projects to be trading. And so as soon as that delisting announcement came out, it completely fried some of my predictions here. And I'm going to have to do something like fill this with a color to say that it's a delisted coin. This is a delisted coin, and continue going through these and mark all the ones that are now delisted, just so that I stop looking at them and I stop doing analysis on them. And I'll take them right out of this spreadsheet completely. Gridcoin research, and surprised that some of these were delisted, but I'm not reading their minds, so it's too bad. Anyway, what I want to do is go over now the top potential and the great potential coins all the way through here. So it's going to be a good 45-minute presentation. I don't want to lag on hovering on things that are not great potential. Anyway, Burst, I believe, is great potential because of the massive moves it's done before. The technology is different in the way that they are doing less energy intensive ways to verify their blockchain by using hard drive space. And the chart pattern is really lining up. So what I'm looking at most of the time is the 3-month view, so that I'm looking at the 12-hour bars. And the 3 things in the simple trading plan are the break of the downtrend line, a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, a break above that 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and the moving average crossover. So we can see here the moving average did cross over out of this little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Prices came up and they came back a little bit, and then the moving averages have come right close to touching again. But I think that they'll continue to stay separate, and this will be showing strength right away. It's one of those coins that I think has great potential from where it is to do some big move. And if I pull up the screenshot from that spreadsheet of my price prediction, I was saying it's going to climb up, come back a little bit, and it has. And then I was saying it's going to crack and go way up to 378 Satoshi, 392 Satoshi before coming back down. And that's just looking at the Fibonacci retracements and estimating that it could come up to the 50% level right at these important support and resistance levels. And this is a short-term view. I believe that all of the cryptos are now in for a 12 to 18 month uptrend that we have not seen before. All we've seen is a couple month of pump and then another 3-week pump and back down. I think that we are in for what we saw in Bitcoin from 2015 until now. So I pull this back to 2015. Right here, September 24th of 2015, we started to see an uptrend. Prices broke up and they solidified. They broke up higher and they pulled back. They broke up higher and then they dumped, higher than they dumped, higher than they dumped, until we just went absolutely crazy into this massive parabolic uptrend. And I think that all of the cryptocurrencies over the next 2 years are going to be doing something like this. And it's time right now, just like September 24th of 2015, it is time to be paying attention and to get yourself prepared and in position. So let's continue going on some of these great potential and top potential coins. Civic coin I marked as a top potential coin. And it's the same pattern that I'm identifying. So here we are looking at the 12-hour bars. We see that it's breaking the downtrend. We have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and a range through August until now. So more than 6 weeks for this bottom to set itself up. It is at historically significant levels, and we can see that it's done some really big moves in the past, along with some nice candle moves here. I like this project because of the unique way that it's using the blockchain for personal ID verification. And I think this will be used in a lot of different places. Right now, it's diverged quite a bit from Bitcoin, where Bitcoin stayed steady here and this has been coming down. But I do believe this bottom formation now is a really good time to be setting up in this, and that it's got top potential over the future. I wrote Dash as great potential or good potential here. Good potential to come back up to these old support and resistance levels, because of the bottom formation it's doing, because the moving averages are crossing over, and because it's broken this downtrend line. These are all macro indicators. It's showing that the tide is changing, not just the waves are changing. So if you zoom into the 3-day view, as we see many people doing, they're looking at the 15-minute bars, or worse, the 5-hour bars. They're trying to jump in and out of these markets at this time, and the price manipulation is too big. The bots are really watching what everybody's doing. They can see where your stop losses are. They know exactly mathematically how far to push prices to hit all of your stops and then soak up all of that coin. It happens over and over again. And the only way to insulate yourself from that is to step back and use the 12-hour bars and a longer term perspective. And this is looking great. Here's our moving average crossover. There's the downtrend line breach. The only thing for me is that it didn't make a really nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. But instead, if we zoom out to the 1-year view, now we're getting that this is a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And a break above that is going to show us some really nice moves. And then I put in Decreed and Digibyte as top potential, both of them. Decreed. That's a little bit too much. Here in this long-term view, we can see the massive run that did up, a big run up, another run here in January, February, another run in June, July, and now it's back down to these historical support and resistance levels, which is key. It's making this consolidation pattern that has been since the beginning of August, so just about 6 weeks of laying flat here in kind of a bowl-shaped pattern as momentum is changing the other direction. And because it's done big skewers to the upside in the past, you can see that I've marked out some red lines here for anticipating the popcorn strategy like we see in this big candle here. And the only way to profit from that is to have your sell orders layered out in advance, way above the market to unexpectable levels. And then you're in position to capitalize on that. So I think this is a great one. I think that over the next 12 to 18 months, it's going to go more than 10 times in value because of the technology behind the project. Digibyte is another one that I'm anticipating another 10 times in value. And if we zoom out to the 1 year view and pull this back, look at the size of this massive triangle of fight in the market. The bulls are fighting, the bears are fighting, the bulls, the bears, the bulls, the bears, all the way along. And when this takes off and breaks above this top level, it's going to really go. So now that it's at these nice levels, different than many of the other cryptos that have fallen back to old historical support and resistance levels, this one has not. Instead, it's got higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Even though the bears were trying to sell it down, it resisted and has come back up. So it's giving me a good feeling that it's got potential to go, and it's going to continue to go after this. Right now it's laying flat, and it would have to break above these levels here before it really turns into the buy signal I'm looking for. Because, like I say again, I want to step back far enough that I'm not going to be whipsawed around by the bots as much. I want to wait for the waves to show me that the tide is moving, and it's not just another quick wave and then a fake out breakout and coming down. So I'm going to step back, and I want to wait till these moving averages cross over as well as breaking above this recent support and resistance level. So while I mark it as a top potential, it's not time to buy it yet according to this simple trading plan. EOS I marked as great potential, and this chart doesn't really show it because it was only recently listed on Poloniex. Instead, we have to go over to Bitfinex to just look at the long-term history of this project. And we can see that it's got higher lows along here. It's broken this downtrend line. It's making the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And even in the one-day charts, the moving averages are coming close to each other. So in the 3-month chart, we can see they touched and then they're getting close again. So a break above these levels, especially above this level where we have support and resistance in the past, that will be very, very bullish. Now we could zoom into the much closer range, and we could see that it made a little wee 1, 2, 3 bottom formation right here, and it broke above it, and prices never looked back. So if you had been willing to be in this close to the markets and taking this kind of higher risk, it's looking pretty good. And I think that over time it's going to continue going. It's a really important platform, and I think it's going to take off. So I've marked it as great potential. Another that I've marked as great potential, let's go back to Poloniex, is Factum. And of course, the reason is much the same as the other ones. We've come back down to historical support and resistance levels. It's a good project backed by Microsoft. I believe that it's the purpose of it is to put medical records on the blockchain. And here we are making this consolidation pattern since August 13th, that tested the lows on September the 12th and resisted. And now it's showing a bit of strength. If we zoom in closer, we can see that the strength really matches what the price of Bitcoin's doing. And so from this kind of breakout, there's our little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation in the short term, right in here. And it broke out and it never looked back. It's shown strength since then. So as we zoom out to the longer term view, the 4-hour bars are almost crossing over. And here's a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that it is nearing to break out right at these old support and resistance levels. So that will be significant should it break above that. And I think that because of where it's been in the recent past and the price chart pattern now, I believe this has got great potential to be going much higher. The next one I want to look at that has great potential is gas. This doesn't have very much history here. Doesn't have very much history on Poloniex, but we can see there's the downtrend break. There's the bottom formation from August the 13th right till now. And a break above these levels would be very bullish. So it's one that I'm counting as a great potential coin. GNT is the next one I've marked in the spreadsheet as a great potential coin. And you can find a link to the spreadsheet below this video as well. And one of the reasons is the same thing. It's back to historical support and resistance levels. It's already broken the downtrend line and making the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So when I zoom into the 12-hour bars, we can see how the moving average is getting close. And a break above this level would be the trading signal in the simple trading plan. And you can get that simple trading plan for free by signing up for the email newsletter over on intro-to-cryptos.ca. There's a couple emails set to go out now, and I will be sending out the simple trading plan shortly. So sign up over there and you'll get a hold of that. HUC coin I've marked as great potential. There's a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We look at the 3-month view. The moving average is crossed over. So it would have been a difficult one to trade by the moving average crossover because it's really setting up. And the longer term view, you can see this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up. It's done some massive moves in the past. And so you can see here that I've marked out where some ideas for the popcorn trading strategy to have your sell orders layered out in advance. So if it does a big candle and wick up to the upside like that, you can profit from it without having to be there watching for it. So I've marked that as good potential. The next one I've marked as good potential is KNC. And I marked it as good potential partly because of this big wick here. But when I looked at longer term historical price charts over on Binance, then it gave me the idea that it's probably got the momentum to do something. Here's the downtrend line. There's the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And I'm predicting it to test these levels and pull back, test these levels here and pull back a bit before breaking higher up past the 50% level, up to the 61.8 level in the Fibonacci retracement estimation. So you can find all of these prediction charts in the spreadsheet as well. The next one I marked with good potential is library credits. If we go to the 3-month view of library credits, it's broken that downtrend. It's made this bottom formation from the 26th of August and laying flat here. I mark it as good potential because I like the project, I liked what it's doing, and because it's done these big moves in the past and we're laying at these historical support and resistance levels. The risk to reward ratio is really great on this one. It doesn't seem to have a lot of downside potential since it's at the historical bottoms. And it's got potential for great upside. Now, the next one I marked as great potential is Litecoin. Great potential, and I believe Litecoin is going to go 10 times in value over the next 12 months to 18 months. I think this is going to be massive because it is so much like Bitcoin. It's really improved, and it's producing less coin now per block because of the halvening that went on last year. At any rate, we are at a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, a consolidation. The downtrend line has broken. And it follows along with Bitcoin pretty closely. So as Bitcoin goes up, I expect this to as well. This is an exception here, where Bitcoin did a big rally, but Litecoin didn't. Most of the time, it matches Bitcoin better. So in the 1-year view, it matches Bitcoin relatively all the way along. So I'm expecting this to be one of the great potentials for this year. Another great potential in the spreadsheet is MadeSafe coin. Look at the massive triangle it's building up here. When this project launches and it gets closer every day, I'm anticipating it's going to be going back up to these old levels again here. And we'll see how that goes. but where's the, we can see the price prediction spreadsheet, where I didn't even go that far. I was saying it'll come up to the 11,000, 12,000 Satoshi level, test it, come up to these old support and resistance levels and retrace a little bit, and then blast through up to the 12,000 Satoshi level. But I do believe that it's going to go further than that as well. And then the next one with great potential, we're looking at Altcoin. And this is one I started to mark in here, that not only does it have good potential because of what it's done in the past and it's at these historical support and resistance levels, but it's also done these massive candles to the upside. And you can see here that I've marked in potential places to put sell orders in and advance as part of the popcorn trading strategy. And you can find more about the popcorn trading strategy by searching YouTube for that specific word phrase. You'll find my older video about it. Nobody else is calling it the popcorn strategy. OMG is the next one that I've got marked in the spreadsheet as being good potential. And OMG is another one that doesn't have a lot of history here in Poloniex, but in other places it has better history. And we're seeing, as I go to the 3-month view, sort of a bottom formation here. It bottomed and then it's come down a bit lower, and then it's showing pretty much a matching movement for Bitcoin. It didn't do much as Bitcoin cracked down here, but as Bitcoin is showing strength, so is OMG. So I think that in the long term, this is going to be a great potential because of where it is historically. The downtrend line is broken. The moving averages are coming very close to crossing over. And when they do, it'll be something in this range when those moving averages cross over. Okay, we've got a few more to go over. The good potential in Omni. Really nice. We got higher lows here from the August 13th and September the 12th. It didn't break to new lows. It's pulled back a bit. And so it may not be great potential, but it has good potential. The moving average is crossed and then uncrossed again, saying it's not quite ready. It's making a larger 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The downtrend line is breaking. And if we go out to the 1-year view, we can see that it has potential to go way higher and probably should be set up with that popcorn move strategy in sell orders as well. The next one I've got marked from the review I did this morning on Twitch. I marked this PPC coin as good potential. And it's the same thing. We can see this downtrend line's breaking. We can see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We can see where support and resistance is. And should it break above those levels, the moving averages will probably cross over and give us a really good trading signal following the simple trading plan. Ouch. I could see Jared wrote a comment. He had 52 Bitcoin and started with 8. And then the Mt. Gox trustee crashed the market and he lost a bunch. Now he's down to 6.35 Bitcoin. Well, this is the time to take those 6.35 and rack them back up to 63.5. This is the time now not to be depressed, but actually to look at these markets and get excited. This is just as exciting as it was back in March of 2017. And that's when I took $20,000 and turned it into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Really turned into a fantastic year. And I cashed out at the right times as things were topping out. And I'll talk more about that later as to when to cash out. But right now I'm looking at what things have the potential to be taking off and where to salt in a bit of your money. If you are able to take those kind of risks and you've done your due diligence. Let me get rid of this, get that out of the way. It's highly risky. I've lost a lot of money myself in different trades, but overall I'm way up and very optimistic. So I was looking at SBD, which is Steam Dollars. And this chart is looking great potential. There's the moving average crossover, was the actual buy signal, and it's pulled back a little bit. It's broken the downtrend line, and since it's pulled back a little bit, it could be a good entry, and it could be the indication that this was a fake out breakout. It's hard to tell right now, but when we look at it over the longer term, we can see that it's done some really great moves, and it has potential now to be doing something like that. Another one that I've marked next as top potential, and one that I just salted in more of investment today, is Coin. The technology is really great. The past moves are really great. The historical price levels are fantastic. When I move into the 3-month view, we can see that it's broken this downtrend line. We have a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up that's taken 6 weeks to establish itself. And the moving averages haven't crossed over yet. So it's top potential, and it's ready to be watching. So if it were to break above these levels and this moving average crossover happen, that is a trading signal according to the simple trading plan. Next one I said was good is Steam. Steam is one of the most active blockchains out there. It's a great platform for blogging, and it's done some massive moves in the past. That's December of 2017. If we zoom out and we are looking back further, it's gone even higher than this. So in the risk to reward ratio in this one is also very inviting, and I've marked it as a good potential. Storage I've marked as a great potential because of the technology, because of the historical lows. The downtrend line is almost being breached. The moving averages on the 12-hour bars are moving closer together. We have the inside of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. All of the items that I'm looking for with that simple trading plan are in place to show that the trend momentum has changed, and that's not just a fake out breakout. STR, even though it has already surged like this, I'm counting it as a great potential. If we go back and take a look at what it's done over the history, it's made some big moves, but I think it's in for something even bigger, because in December, January 2018, then through April, May of 2018, prices did what most of the other cryptocurrencies did, and then it did not sink all the way back down to old historical lows after this. Instead, it made higher bottoms and higher bottoms to create this large triangle shape. With a break above it now, this is very bullish, and I believe it's going to go way higher, up to 10,000 Satoshi from the 37 or 4,000 that it is now. Maybe 10,000 or maybe more. I think because of the size of this consolidation triangle over the entire year, I think this one's going to really take off. And I've marked it as great potential in the spreadsheet. And I love having this spreadsheet because then I can go back and say which one did I say was great and which one actually turned out to be great. Then we're looking now at Strat, which I've marked to be a great potential. Here's the long-term stuff back from May of 2017, January 2018, May of 2018, then that long downtrend way back to historical lows. So if we zoom in on this now, it hit a low here on August 13th, a little lower on September the 12th, but we can almost call that a double bottom. And now it's made an internal 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up here. If we zoom back out to the 3-month, we can see the moving averages have not crossed over yet, but the downtrend has been broken. We have this consolidation, almost a 1, 2, 3 bottom. I think this has great potential, being where it is compared to where it's been in the past, and the whole mood of the crypto market really makes this stand out. Syscoin, good potential. It's making a really nice bowl shape pattern here. It may turn into a bowl cup with handle pattern, but over the history, it's been some really great moves here. Now that it's back to these historical levels, the risk to reward ratio is really inviting in this. So it's one that I've put on as a good potential. XVC, VTC rather, my dyslexia. I'm calling this one as a good potential. If I go into the 1-month view, we can see a little 1, 2, 3 bottom formation here. Though it had lower lows here and lower highs here, I'm still thinking this is a consolidation that's going to change and show its upward potential, and partly because of what it's done in the past. Now that it's back to these historically important support and resistance levels, it's a really good chart. XEM is the next one in the spreadsheet that I marked as a good potential. Again, it's back to these historically important support and resistance levels. The downtrend line of the recent range here has been broken. We did see a new low on September the 12th that's lower than the 13th of August, lower than the rest in August. So it may be that it needs more time to mature and it has to break above these levels before it's a real buy signal. And if you wait that long and then you buy in when it breaks above, you can see that there's still so much upside potential to this. It's okay to wait. The next one here and the good is XMR. And even though I've marked this as a good potential, I think that all the privacy altcoins will be regulated and they'll crash like crazy. But we can see that it's got a trend of higher lows. It's broken this downtrend line. It's made a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and the breakout. If I zoom into the 12-hour bars, there's the moving average crossover. Now it's making a flag. I don't know if this is a bear flag or a bull flag, but if it breaks above this, it's going to be going up quite a bit more. And it's got lots of room to go up. I imagine that even if it just hits these levels, that's a really good move. The last couple now that I've marked as good potential, you'll notice I don't put Ripple and Stellar as good potential because they've already moved. They're already going and they could be going much higher, but I'm looking for things that are breaking this downtrend line, making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and they're having the 3-month moving averages cross over. So this is one that is good potential, but it still has some work to do to actually confirm this downtrend has turned around. What are we looking at? Zcash. And ZRX is much the same as Zcash, except it's showing a bit more strength here. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation has broken out. If I go to the 3-month view, the moving averages haven't crossed over yet. The 1-month view, they're just coming up to cross over, but you can more clearly see this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And I'm not sure how much history is in this, but we can see that it ran up in the early 2018, made a bigger run than most of the cryptos in March, April, and then it's pulled all the way back down to these historically important support and resistance levels. And one request to look up PPT. So that must be on Binance. It's a pretty new listing on Binance, but it is following generally under these categories where it had the run up January, February. It came back and ran up a bit in March, April, and then it's got this long, lazy downtrend. Hard to match where that downtrend is actually because it's more of a bowl shape where it's losing momentum as it's going down. Now it has a bottom on August 13th. It did not go lower on September the 12th, which is important. And it's making a descending wedge triangle. So it has to break above these levels here, likely, and it has to have the moving averages cross over in the 12-hour bars. So they were close to crossing here. Prices slid off a little bit more. So it would have to consolidate and then come up higher than this line, in addition to the downtrend line break, the 1, 2, 3 bottom, and breaking above this line are the requirements. So it's not looking like it's taking off from here yet, but with everything else going on, I like it. And Loom, I'm going to look at it here in Binance because it's got much longer history. 3-month view, and that's all the history it has here. So again, it'll follow those same things. I'm looking for the tide to change, not just the waves to show me something. So we see the August 13th low, we see the September the 12th low, and it didn't break lower, which is bullish. And now we're inside a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So it would have to break above this number 2 point. This is the number 1, this is the number 2, this is the number 3, or a double 1 even. But it'd have to break above this level to show me that it's turned around from this downtrend. And even then, we can see what happened here. is that it made a bottom formation. Prices went up and they started looking strong here in July. But then it came down and down again. So immediately after the prices break out, then you have to be guarding against the fake out breakout. And many of the coins were showing a potential turnaround here, and they all broke and failed at the same time, which is one of the reasons I make this spreadsheet, so that I can make my prediction and then I can mark in the day that that market failed. Whoops. Then I can mark in the day that that market failed. Why is it doing that? I want to get that whole column rather than click off. So it's harder. But anyway, there's the fails on this as I mark it in. And then I'm keeping track of the simple trading plan to see, is it looking good or not? And then over time, I can update this spreadsheet to say it looks great or not. And so Loom, if I go and look at what my price prediction was, so I was identifying the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation back on September the 9th and anticipating or wanting it to come up and test this number 2, pull back a bit and then take off. And I'm anticipating it coming back to the Fibonacci retracements at the 50% level, 50% from the high to the low. And surprisingly, it always matches up with historical support and resistance levels. So this is what my targets and my anticipation is for the Loom network. And this is on Binance. Now I restrict most of my trading to Poloniex, where I'm watching some of these markets. So that is a review of what's in the spreadsheet and looking at the ones that I say are great potential. And I skipped by a bunch that could be good potential, but they didn't turn out to have the chart patterns that I thought were great potential. I even skipped past BitShares and didn't mark this as great potential. And that surprises me actually, because when I look at this in the long term, it's looking great, and it has done some massive moves in the past. I guess the one thing that pulls it apart from something like Digibyte is that it failed holding this triangle, and it's come back now to new lows. So it failed the wrong way on this big massive triangle, and it has some rebuilding to do before it turns into a great potential one. All right, 42 minutes. I wasn't expecting it to be this long. I was wanting to blast through all these things faster, but there's a lot of details to cover, and it's an important time. Let's check out to see what Bitcoin's doing. I'm still up 73% on this trade. Still up 65% on this trade. I'm still up 33% on this trade using one Fox. So you can start off with very little bits of Bitcoin. Some of these trades are just $8, $10. And that's pretty much how I started out back in 2015. I had $15 worth of Bitcoin. I grew that. I remember taking $5 and turning it into... No, I took 50 cents and I turned it into $5 in the summer of 2015. And I told a friend of mine, hey, I just turned 50 cents into $5. And he goes, oh, that's good. Now you can buy me a beer. But he didn't get it that that was a 10 times growth of my money. So pay attention to the percentage gain, not the number of dollars, when you are trading. And for many of you, you may be interested in trading over on one broker, where you can grow your Bitcoin by trading world markets, by trading stocks, by trading futures and Forex. And you can also be following other traders. So if you find somebody you like, you can be following them and make some great profits. Now, I was looking for a specific trader here. And I don't see his profile here. what happened to his profile. So it was a trader that was up 800%, and then he put on a massive number of trades that all were pulled down 25%, and he did 28 of them or something, so that it took him down 700% in his platform, and now I don't see him on here. So did he close all those trades and then close his account? I'll have to do some more research to see what that trader did. I won't even name him because he made a trading mistake, but overall he was a really fantastic trader, a really good genius. Just made a mistake in his trades there and the way he went about putting his trades out. So while you can be copying these successful traders, it's really important to go over their shared trades and see what kind of leverage they're using, what kind of history they have in their stuff. So this guy is down 1,000%, and then he's up 1,000%, and he's got 414 copiers now. But this is pretty volatile. You really want to pay attention to who you're copying and follow them for a while to see if they are consistent in their profits. Look at their shared trades to see, are they doing 100 times leverage trades? And how big is their biggest loss? Because if you were only trading a few of them and you hit this one, this could really wipe out your account to have an 83% loss. So really important to pay attention to who you are copying and why. So for all of my public trades, I keep them all at 1-to-1 leverage so that it's less risky for those who are following me. It's very slower earnings as well. All right, I will sign off now, and thank you very much for following along with this live feed. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. There will be more of these as the cryptos move along. Cheers and good luck in all of your trading.